Hello and welcome to part 4 of the FreeCodeCamp JavaScript calculator challenge. This is what the project looks like thus far. I've added styles in the previous video to make the app a little bit nicer to work with, and in this one I'll be adding the functionality. For now, if I press a button, the app will just render the value of the button onto the screen component. Now, the way I want this app to work is that when I enter a number, it will, and then I press on one of the operators, let's say plus. So now the plus replaces the 12 up top, and the 12 gets updates the result on the bottom. So now I have the plus here and the 12 here. This 12 is not here. And after the operator, I start inputting another number, let's say 8. So now the 8 replaces the plus, and now whenever I press something else, one of the 4 operators, it will perform the equation 12 plus 8. But now, let's say plus, this will replace the 8, but this will update to be 20. So that's the basic idea. I don't know if that's clear or if I'm confusing people, but I just wanted you to know what I'm trying to accomplish. So to do that, I obviously need to cache the operator that was clicked. So let me move to my code editor, and I will add it to my state in the constructor. And I will set it to an initial value of a plus sign, because I want to, basically, this is going to be null anyway, so I want to just add the first number to 0. And once I add functionality to this button here, I'll be able to change the first number to a -1 if someone wants to start by subtracting from 0. So that's the basic idea anyway. So now when I added the operator, I also want to have it in my handle click function. So I'm gonna do result. I want to cache the result, and I want to cache the operator as well. That was the easy part, because for now clicking on any button does the same thing. It displays it, but I want it to perform a different action depending on what button has been clicked. I'll use a switch statement to do that, and I'll switch on a Boolean value because I want to use some regular expressions. So first I want to check for the operators, so there's 4 of them. The square brackets mean that any one of the characters inside is matched, then this is going to return true. So the characters are plus, x, hyphen, and the funny one. This is the funny one. Okay, and I want to test it against the button that was clicked. This button comes from the argument, which is passed in this send to parent method in the button component. So that's how I get the value of the button that was clicked. I went over this in the previous video. So now I'll just console log for now, actually, and break. And the next case is gonna be just for numbers. That's the only 2 I'm gonna do for now. Now this is a special character for regex that will look for any number from 0 to 9. And again here I will just console log and break. Okay, so let's see if it works in the console. Okay, it looks fine. So now it's time to make him do something. Let's start from digits because they're easy. We just want to push the current number, the one that was clicked, the button that was clicked, to the current array. So I can just take this old code here and move it up, and I'm done. So moving on to operators. Whenever an operator is clicked, I want it to replace the current number and do the math. So let's create another function. I will call it doMath. I'm not very, I don't know, creative with the names for my functions, and this is not supposed to be here. Wait. Okay, so I'll just console log something for now. And let's see if, oh, I need to call it as well. So I'll go here and call my new function. And let's see if it works. It does, and any other doesn't actually run this function. So yeah, everything is fine. Now let's create, now to make this function work properly, because I wanted to do math. So to do math, I'm gonna need two numbers and an operator. So I need to pass in those three as arguments. And now whenever I call this function, I also need to pass in three arguments to it. So I have the result and I have the operator, but current is just an array. So I want to create another variable, constant, whatever, and I want to parse float, and as the argument I'm gonna pass in the joint array. So this is gonna be a string, and I want to parse it into a number. And now I can pass in all three arguments. Okay, that's pretty easy. Now to do math, I'll actually be using a global eval function. So let me go to the console again. Now the way this function works is it takes a string as an argument, but the way JS works is when you add a string to a number, the whole thing is changed to a string. So because like I passed in two numbers here, that would be a problem for me, right? But if I, for example, do 2 plus, it's gonna actually change the whole thing into a string. So if I enter 2 plus 3, it's gonna actually do the right math. So that's really important for this part. So now I wanna do the same thing here. I will create a variable constant result, and I will eval num1 plus operator plus num2, and now I will set state. There we go. I don't know if I went over this, but the reason why I don't have to do this is because of ES6. Oh, I need to actually do this. ES6 doesn't need you to enter both values if the name of the property and the value is the same. So that's why I'm using the same values everywhere, so I don't have to type the same thing twice. Anyway, let's just try it out now if it's gonna do it. Set state is not defined. Line 20. Oh, my bad. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, it does work, but as you can see, it didn't actually, the operator didn't replace the number here. It just duplicated it, and it's in two places at once, and so when I start inputting another number, it just appends at the end. So I need to change that. So I'll go to my first case scenario, and I wanna update the operator to the current button, and then I wanna update current to the operator. I also need to change the current to let and the operator as well. Okay, let's see if it works now. Ah, okay, this breaks. But before I get to that, I want to fix the fact that the operator like kind of persists and stays in front of the number. So I'll go to my second case here, and basically what I want to do is check if the array has a one of those here, so I can just copy this whole thing. But I don't want to test it against a button, I want to test it against the array. So now what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna replace the operator with an empty array, and then immediately after I'm gonna push a number into that array and then update the state. So let's see if it works. Okay, as you can see, it always adds. Let's see what's wrong in the React DevTools. Not Redux. Okay, lately those plugins have been acting really weird. Like whenever I enter React or Redux, I can't exit it without exiting the entire console. So that's a little bit frustrating. Yeah, that's the one. So let's click a little bit. See, like the operator stays as plus, so that's not what I want, really. Oh, okay, I see. So like I never actually set state to the new changed operator, so that's why it never changes. Let's try it now. We have it here. Okay. Oops. What's happening? I have no idea what's this. For some reason, oh, okay, I think I know. Wait, because x is not actually the symbol for multiplying, and the funny one isn't a symbol for division. So I need to change those into the proper ones. So I'll go into my doMath, and now I want to run a replace on my operator. So if the operator is either x or the funny one, where is it? I don't know what this is called. The division sign is just like too serious for me, so the funny one works. So now I wanna replace each symbol with a different thing. So I will need a arrow function, and inside there I'm gonna have a switch. But what do I switch on? On the argument that is passed in. Let's just say operator to make it nice. Although I don't know if I can. Let's say up. So here I will switch on up, and first case is this one. So I want to return a /, and because it's a return statement, I don't need to break after it. It works the same way as break. And the second one is x, and I want to return an asterisk. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's see if it works. 6 times 9 divided by 2 plus 3 minus 10 divided by 5 times 6. Yeah, everything is good. But I do not want to have this switch statement inside this function, because it just makes it so bloated, it's hard to read. So I will actually take the entire switch out of here, and I will delete this arrow function, and instead I will create another function, switch operators. As I said, I'm not very creative, and now I can definitely use the operator here. And here I will do the switch statement, and I can just call this function from here, and I think it's much cleaner, so I'll use this way. I'll do it this way. So let's make sure that it still works. Okay, so what's next? We've done the basics pretty much. I don't know what else I can do here. So what's left? Oh, okay, so I know what's left. Whenever for this, what I did here by accident is I tried to change the operator. So let's say I wanted to add to the 9, but I pressed minus, so I want to change it to plus, and then it turns to none, because where is it? Up here, it's gonna take the whatever is in the array. In this case, it's gonna be a plus sign, so it's gonna try and parse it, but because it's not a number, it's gonna return not a number. So then it's gonna call this doMath, and it's gonna pass in a none into it, and then it's gonna update the result and set state, and that's how we get here. So what I need to do is create a condition where if the num2, because result is pretty much safe from that, if num2 is not a number, I don't wanna run it, or I wanna run it only when num2 is a number. Basically, that's much easier to say. So I want isNone to return false, and only then I will, where is it? Oops, that's unfortunate. And only then I wanna run the eval. So let's check now. Result is not defined on line 30. Oh, okay, that's actually correct, because I've declared the result constant inside the if statement, so that's the scope of it, and I can't reach it from outside of this if. So I will just set it here. So what was I checking? Oh, if I can change the operator. So I want minus. Okay, now it kind of ruins it as well. So if I add, no, I want to, no. Okay, as you can see, the result property completely disappears from state. So the reason for it is that I don't assign it anything here, and if it doesn't go inside this if this doesn't return true, then it's never gonna assign anything to it. So I update state with an empty variable, which kind of removes the property from state because there's nothing in it. So to remedy this, I can just move this up here, and that should work. You can also like copy state to the result variable and set state either way. Like you're just gonna be setting state to the same number in case it doesn't go inside this if, but I don't think there's any reason for that, to do that. If we want to update state as least as possible. We don't want to do it too often, so I think that's the best way to do it. Let's see if it works now. No, I wanna, okay, no, I wanna divide it. Now I wanna add. Now I wanna multiply. Now I wanna add. Oh, okay, I wanna, yeah, okay. So everything works fine. So I don't actually know what is left. I think that pretty much covers everything, to be honest. Let me check the time, because I don't want it to be too long. Okay, this video is already at around 20 minutes, so I'm gonna end it here. I'm just gonna push all the changes to GitHub, and yeah, that's. So I'm gonna add everything. See the status. Yeah, we only worked in the app.js, so that's a very small commit. Operators and digits. Yeah, git push origin master. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for today. In the next video, I'll pick up from here, and I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you in the next one.